Anyway, this is Operations Officer Windfall, Seattle, Washington. The time is 2:23 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today's date is February 3rd, 2013. Let's see what else. I've been apprised by informants, that is, people that are willing to share information with me, so that I can convey it to the lawful authorities. That is my boss. Currently my boss is Michael Morrill, the Director of Central Intelligence. My new boss might be John Brennan, if he's confirmed. Anyway, this is why I'm useful. I mean, this is a gospel truth. The reason I'm useful as an agent for the CIA is that I am an honest broker when it comes down to, if somebody shares information with me, I will convey that information as soon as I can in the most secure way I can. And if I can, I'll just put it out in the open, like I'm doing now. And if I had an MP5 or a Beretta 9mm, or I had some hand grenades or something useful for terrorists, then I could sell them, because terrorists like to pay money for these things. They don't like to be like paupers, and they like to pay their bills. See, this is because they're Muslims. Not all of them are Muslims. Some of them are just out for the guts and glory. Anyway, the problem with on and off again terror attacks, that is, the plans are put up, they're set in place, and then suddenly they're dissipated, they disappear, and then they're reinstituted, is that they're always there. This blizzard of fucking activity with the terrorist motherfuckers. What can you do? I don't know. For one thing, I mean, they literally will throw bodies into the street if it helps them. I mean, think of New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. And there were bodies floating around in the fucking water all fucking day, all night, It was a disaster. They had people in the hospital that the physicians actually decided that they would just put down, like dogs or cattle or something, because they were just not going to survive and they would just suffer. So they just give them an injection and just kill them. Anyway, there's this movie called Michael Clayton. It was a great movie. George Clooney was in it. But anyway, this one guy who was the lawyer for this tobacco syndicate, he decided, because he was crazy, sort of like I am, but not in a different way, that he would just go ahead and tell the tale. And he was killed by operatives of the big business consortium, which eventually was resulting in the big business people getting caught, but they didn't serve any time. They got probation or parole or some shit. Nobody gives a shit about these things. I do, because I'm like me. But anyway, the thing is, though, let's say, all right, now I am an alcoholic. This is a true fact. But I'm not drinking alcohol, but I'm drinking something that approximates alcohol. Because it's basically, alcohol has been banned for several years now, because we're under a different regime now. But they do give it like a barbiturate stew that you can drink that's pretty much like pretty close to alcohol in its effect, which I'm drinking now. Anyway, but let's say that during the year 2001, that if I was a person, a human being, or somebody that looked like a human being, and I walked around Florida, and I said, I think I'll go to pilot school. And I had money, so I come into the school, and I say, I would like to be a pilot. I like to pilot jets, airliners, 747s even, or at least Pipers or Cessnas or something. And they say, well, of course, take a test and you pay the money. So they whip out, a whole stack of $100 bills, and they pay the cash for for their courses, and then they get their credentials eventually, and they can fly planes. They fly planes. Now, if I wanted to be a pilot, I have to prove two things: that I had the smarts to be a pilot, and B, that I wasn't a drunk, a chronic drunk, or an alcoholic, or somebody who uses dope. I have to be pure and clean and sober. But if I lied very well, I could be a pilot. Well, what does it take to be a pilot? We have to learn the controls and avionics and all kinds of things. So, like, let's say, all right, I'm a pilot, and I'm in Baton Rouge right now. And I'm warming up my, I have a helicopter today for some reason. So I'm warming up the helicopter, and it's a good size helicopter because it's a Sikorsky, and anyway, I work for a company that ferries executives around, and currently they're not busy doing anything except watching the Super Bowl from those luxury boxes in the Super Bowl in the Superdome. So I got plenty of time to get myself some more hours with the helicopter. So I get into the helicopter. Now normally I would have a co-pilot. Normally that's required, but in today for some reason this kind of like been giving me a little bit of a hassle having a co-pilot. So I just fake it. I don't have a co-pilot, but I say I have a co-pilot. So on the log I put down somebody's name, fictitious name. And I get into Sikorsky, and I start it up. I ask the air control if I can take off, and they say yes, you can. So I take off the Sikorsky, and I go into the air. Now I don't have a flight plan because this is one of those get some more hours day. It's a very pretty day today in New Orleans, Louisiana. But I'm in Mississippi right now because I've already circled around and come back the other way. Now I'm coming off the Gulf, and I'm flying low and slow because I'm trying to figure out if I can get this chopper to have some issue with this back spray from the ocean floor, because I'm hoping that someday I'll be able to get on one of those cruise ships and be an expert pilot for someone. So if you can read between the lines, my friend, you can see there could be somebody coming up your ass right now. And if they're coming up your ass right now, they might have a plan, Stan. They might be like a superhero. They might be like the Wolverines. They may be invincible. They may have claws. They may have design. If they have design, there may be a purpose to their design. All right. Riddle me this. If you're a person like a president or someone's important, but you don't want to know, you don't want everybody to know where you are at any given time. Let's say you're Prince Harry or Prince William or somebody. But you want to go to some American event that's really, really, very, very, as a trademark for Americana. Well, you go to the Super Bowl, of course. Right, because that's typically American. Anyway, so you have to get some way to get into the stadium, get to your luxury box, which you can, of course, have because you are, of course, an important person. And you have to get into the luxury box, and you have to be kind of like secluded. That is, no one has to know. No one knows that you're there. I mean, no, not officially. Well, the thing is, you're a target because you're important. If you're important, and if you're hurt or somehow inconvenienced by some activity in and around the Super Bowl, that's newsworthy. That's international news. So this is what I'm telling you. If you're Mitt Romney or Mitt Romney's son or daughter, and if you're at the Super Bowl right now, be aware of your surroundings and who's serving you food. And don't use drugs. You can use alcohol, but only to moderation. I'm only telling you this because I've been told by certain persons this too. So I'm only telling it to you, a select few.